life came to an abrupt end for Melanie Cravens and her 3 little girls, Candace, Erin, and Casey Woodard. And you, ladies and gentlemen, you have been given the awesome task of deciding just who is responsible for what happened out on that stretch of highway on Christmas Eve of 1992.
We had so many plans for the girls, and we had so many plans for our lives, and everything was really going in the right direction, you know, at the time of the accident.
The details were horrific. A young family on Christmas Eve driving to the Albuquerque foothills for a view of the holiday lights. A pickup truck traveling the wrong way on the interstate slammed head-on into the Cravens family car. Paul Cravens was critically injured. His wife Melanie and his 3 stepdaughters aged 5, 8, and 9 were killed.
I was super close to my daughter and grandkids. Probably closer than a lot of grandparents are.
Bob and Nadine Milford lost their daughter and 3 granddaughters in the accident.
There's no words I can describe what it felt like to stand in that field.
And when it happened, I lost it. You know, I went down the freeway, and it took 3 or 4 policemen to hold me back. I just ran up and down the freeway screaming. I just couldn't believe it.
Workers arrived at the crash site. Paul Cravens was slumped over the steering wheel, barely alive. He was rushed from the scene and was hospitalized for 2 months. The rest of his family never came home.
While we were working on the car, when we finally got enough debris cleared away and I went to lift up the first girl, what struck me was when I picked her up, she was so light and so little. Her little feet were down by my knees. She's just little. She's just little, like my kids. And that's what hurts.
After nearly 9 hours of emotional testimony, Gordon House spoke on his own behalf.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about this accident. I just ask that the healing somehow it can begin. I'm sorry for the suffering, the pain, the sadness each one of you struggle with each day. I just ask for your forgiveness. I ask everyone for forgiveness.
The apology that came at the sentencing would have been nice if it had been said at the very beginning.
He's apologizing because he got caught. Not once have I heard him say, "I'm sorry that I was inebriated."
After weighing hours of wrenching testimony, Judge Blackmer announced that he had come to a decision on Gordon House's sentence.
I've agonized over this case a lot. And the bottom line is there's no good answer, and there's no easy answer. This is a case not about race, but alcohol, an equal opportunity destroyer of lives and hope.
And so the judge imposed a 25-year sentence, 22 years to be served in prison, 3 on probation, just shy of the maximum sentence. The judge denied Nadine Milford's request to hang a photograph of the accident victims in House's cell.
I don't think anybody would argue about the tragedy of these victims losing their lives, but this wasn't a premeditated murder. He made a serious mistake in getting behind the wheel on Christmas Eve when he'd been drinking, and perhaps also suffering a migraine. But do you really think he deserves to spend that much time behind bars?
Very much so. He made a conscious decision to drink. He made a conscious decision to drive. He knew what the consequences could be. We unfortunately had those consequences, the very worst that can possibly happen, a dead family.
We spoke with House the day before his prison term began.
It's going to be real difficult. We're a close-knit family. The kids constantly depend upon the father.
2 months later, Sue House was still adjusting to her husband's absence.
It's hard to be strong. It's lonely.
You never say goodbye. That really hurt me.
And, you know, that's the devastation drunk drivers leave behind. A family can't even say goodbye.